Hi. I'm good. How about you?
I'm good.
By the way, how was your trip in Hiroshima?
It was amazing, but the best thing was the Global Peace Memorial. This is the video. I would like you to watch it. Hello, welcome to Peace Memorial Park. I'm a youth peace volunteer, so may I offer you a free guide?
Yes, please.
This is the Cenotaph for the airborne victims, also known as the Memorial Monument for Hiroshima City of Peace. This design is based on the house-shaped haniwa, which is an object used in the burial of the dead in ancient Japan. This symbolizes our hope that the souls who rest here will be sheltered from the rain. This cenotaph is designed by Kenzo Tange, who was a famous architect in Japan. He also designed the Peace Memorial Museum and the whole Peace Memorial Park. He arranged the Atomic Bomb Dome and Peace Memorial Museum and this cenotaph in a straight line. This line is called the axis of peace.
In the stone chest under the monument, there's a register of the names of all Hiroshima Hibakusha who have passed away. New names are added every year before the Peace Memorial ceremony. As of 6th of August 2020, about 324,000 people's names in the stone chest. This includes the name of some non-Japanese people. The inscription on the chest says, "May all the souls here rest in peace, for we shall not repeat the evil." We refers to all humanities, regardless of nationalities. These words are promise that we, humanity, will not repeat the war. They are carved representation of the spirit of Hiroshima, our wish for the world peace.
Next, I would like to explain about this pond. This pond is called the Pond of Peace. There are explanations about this monument in 8 languages: Japanese, English, Russian, French, Italian, German, Chinese, and Korean. When the atomic bomb was dropped, many people believed that those who were injured or burned would die if they drank water. So, many people died desperate for water. To console those spirits, there are many places related to water, such as this pond and fountain. That water is there, hoping that those who died desperate for water can quench their thirst anytime. Let's observe moment silence for the atomic bomb victims. Okay, let's move on to the next place. Next, I would like to explain about this flame. This flame is called the Flame of Peace. This flame is a symbol of a wish for the world without nuclear weapons. The pedestal under the flame is shaped like hands open to the sky, like this. The flame was lit on August 1st, 1964, and it has continued to burn since then. The flame will burn until all the nuclear weapons are gone from the world.
This building is called Rest House. It was built in 1929, originally as a kimono shop. but it was closed in 1943 because of the war and became the Hue Hall. Just 170 meters from the hypocenter, the roof was crushed by the blast, destroying the interior until it went up in flames on August 6, 1945. Of 37 people working in the building, only one survived the explosion. This was Mr. Eizo Nomura, who was down in the basement.
This is a brief version of his story. It was a custom in the fuel hall that all workers would assemble at 8 a.m. every morning. After the assembly, Eizo Nomura went to his desk as he always did. He noticed that he didn't have the document he needed, so he went to the basement where the documents were stored. As he was searching for the documents in the basement, he heard a huge sound, then the lights suddenly went out. A few pieces of stone fell on his head, causing minor injuries. When he tried to go upstairs, he found that the stairs had changed into something like slope, made of pieces of wood, roof tiles, and sand. He heard a shout, "Help me!" from the darkness, as well as screams and cries.
Then he heard the sound of flowing water from a broken water pipe and thought he might only have a little time left at the basement. Suddenly, the faces of his 4 children appeared in his mind, and he never knew what happened next. He was out of the basement before he realized it. He saw people breathing and buildings burning. Essentially, his entire surroundings were destroyed. He saw a lot of dead people as well. Although Eizo Nomura survived the bomb, he still suffered from various symptoms of radiation exposure, affecting his mental and physical health. He lived for another 37 years after the bombing and died at age 84. The detailed version of his story can be read in a book titled Airborne Memoirs, and with other books about him at the library or the Peace Memorial Hall for the Army bomb victims. His story can also be accessed on the internet.
In 1982, the building reborn as a rest house and had ever been used as a rest spot for visitors to the park. After renovation work, it reopened on July 1st, 2020. In the basement, you can see the displays about Eizo Nomura, and on the 3rd floor, you can see the displays about the history of Nakajima District. Nakajima District is an area of Hiroshima that existed where the park is now. This building also provides the tourist information and has a souvenir shop for Hiroshima specialty product on the 1st floor.
This is the Children's Peace Monument. Do you know the story of Sadako Sasaki? Sadako was exposed to the A-bomb about 1.7 kilometers from the hypocenter when she was 2 years old. Miraculously, she escaped injury and went on to be young and sick young girl. However, 10 years later, when she was 12, she developed acute leukemia and admitted to hospital. There is a belief in Japanese tradition that holding 1,000 paper cranes will grant someone a wish.
So Sadako folded over 1,300 paper cranes using any paper she could get, even medicine packaging. But her wish was unfulfilled. After an 8-month battle in the hospital, she passed away at the age of 12. Her classmates were shocked by her death and were afraid of the atomic bomb. They started a fundraising campaign to build a monument. Donations came from over 3,200 schools all over Japan and in 9 other countries, and the monument was built in 1958. Sadako's story has been handed down as a symbol of a tragedy in Hiroshima. The monument is also called the Tower of 1,000 Cranes because of the association between Sadako and paper cranes.
It is 9 meters high.
A bronze statue of a girl holding a gold paper frame stands on top of the tower. This represents a dream for a peaceful future. Also, there are two statues of a boy and a girl standing on the left and right side of the tower. These represent a bright future and hope. Additionally, there is a stone beneath the bell which says, "This is our cry, this is our prayer for building peace." Also, there are approximately 10 million folded paper frames sent or brought here every year. Their total weight is about 10 tons. Most of those paper cranes are being recycled into notebooks or postcards so that visitors would be able to feel people's hope for a peaceful future within their own hands.
This is the monument in memory of the Korean victims of the A bomb. It was built by Korean people living in Hiroshima and completed on April 10th in 1970. It is about 5 meters tall and weighs about 10 tons. The pillar stands on a large pedestal shaped like a turtle. All the stones used in the monument was produced in Korea and taken here. And the turtle's head is facing the direction of Korea.
Many Koreans died in Hiroshima. Do you know why? This is linked to Korea and Japan's history. Korea was a colony of Japan for 35 years, from August 29, 1910 to September 9, 1945. When the Pacific War started in 1941, the Japanese government forced Koreans to work for Japan. That is why many Koreans were in Hiroshima when the A-bomb was dropped. Some survivors went back to Korea, but some stayed in Japan. Not only Japanese people, but people from Korea, China, America, and other countries suffered. Nationality had nothing to do with the suffering from A-bomb. We will never forget this truth.
In World War II, very many Koreans came to Japan, and one of them was Prince Lee-woo, a member of the Korean royal family. He was also a member of the Japanese military. On that day, he was exposed to the A-bomb near Aioi Bridge over there, and was found there. He passed away on the following day. This monument was built on the place where Prince Lee was found, outside of the Peace Park. However, some Korean people said that it's discrimination. This monument should be inside of the Peace Park. So in 1999, it was transferred to this location. This is the Atomic Bomb Memorial Mound. It was made by the city of Hiroshima in 1955 on the 10th anniversary of the bombing. At the time of the bombing, this area was called Nakajima Honmachi, and it was one of the biggest residential areas in Hiroshima city. Under the mound, there is a room containing the ashes of roughly 70,000 A-bomb victims. Sadly, about 140,000 people died in Hiroshima by the end of 1945. Of these people, half of them couldn't be identified. This place can be said to be a big tomb for victims. 815 victims have been identified, but they still remain unclaimed. The city has published a list of the identified victims. However, very few ashes are claimed by relatives. Over 75 years have passed, and in some cases, entire families are gone.
Every year, on August 6th, many senior citizens come here and pray for family members who never came back home. It is heartbreaking. An interreligious memorial service is also held here to comfort the A-bomb victims. As I mentioned, this is a very sacred place. Let's have a moment of silence here.
This is Aioi Bridge, which is known for its characteristic T-shape. It was used as the target for atomic bombing. The atomic bombing exploded 300 meters away from this bridge. Because of the powerful shockwave, the bridge was damaged. For example, the girders backed up and the handrail fell into the rivers and some part of sidewalk were pushed up. After the explosion, a lot of people came to this river to get away from the heat. After the war, this bridge was used for many years thanks to renovation work. 3 days after the explosion, a streetcar which had been exposed to radiation passed through here. It was a miracle. And we call that streetcar the A-bombed streetcar. Even now, it continues to run on August 6th.
This tour guide is amazing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Hey!
Hey, hi.
What are you guys watching?
This is the atomic bomb dome. Before the bombing, it was Hiroshima Prefecture Industrial Promotion Hall. This was a symbolic landmark in Hiroshima City. At 8:15 a.m. on 6th of August 1945, when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, no one who was working in this building could survive this tragedy. Now, the atomic bomb dome is under construction like this, but before the construction, the original shape is like this.
The roof was originally covered with copper plates. However, this dome was located 160 meters southwest from the hypocenter, so all of them melted instantly. As you may be able to see, many parts of the walls have been repaired after the war. The government spent a lot of money to preserve this historical heritage site.
Originally, some people say the atomic bomb dome should be demolished immediately because the existence of this building brought back the painful memories by the Hibakusha. But others say it should be known all over the world as a witness to the damage from nuclear weapons. In the end, it is said that one girl's diary had a big influence on public opinion. 70-year-old Hiro Kazuyama kept a diary every day. In her diary, she wrote this: "People will forget this tragedy of Hiroshima after 20 centuries. In the future, only the atomic bomb dome and the words written on the Cenotaph will remind us the horror of nuclear weapons." This is one of the reasons we can see this important building today. In 1996, the atomic bomb dome was designated as a World Cultural Heritage Site. The dome acts as a reminder of the power of atomic bomb and of the untold suffering caused by it. Also, a call for abolition of nuclear weapons and world peace.
In Japan, during World War II, men were called to go to war, so there were not enough men to do regular work. To solve this problem, students older than 12 were mobilized, which means they had to do manual labor. They worked in weapon factories or helped demolish buildings to prevent fire spreading from bombing. More than 8,000 students were working as mobilized students on the morning when the atomic bomb dropped in Hiroshima, and about 6,300 students of them lost their lives. This tower was built in 1967 to console the spirit of them. The statue at the base represents 3 religions. The statue's face is similar to Buddha's. The belt represents Shinto, a Japanese religion, and the wings represent angels for Christianity.
Now let's look behind the tower where you will see some relief sculptures. On the far left, you can see schoolboys walking in the fields. Next to that, you can see schoolgirls sewing new green uniforms. Here, you can see more boys working in the factories to make weapons. There are 351 school names from all over Japan carved on this monument. These schools served as centers for mobilized students. More than 3 million students were mobilized around Japan during World War II, and about 10,000 students were lost their lives.
These two trees are called phoenix trees, and they were exposed to the A-bomb. They were about 1.3 kilometers from the hypocenter, but they were moved here in 1973. After the bombing, everyone thought that it would be impossible for trees to grow again in Hiroshima. However, these trees sprouted beautifully the next spring. Many people were encouraged by the growing trees. There was a young woman named Suzuko Numata. She was at her office when the atomic bomb exploded. She was injured and lost her leg. She had thought of suicide, but when she saw these trees' sprouted leaves, she was inspired to keep living.
When you press this button, you can hear a song called Aogiri no Uta. This song was made by an elementary student girl in 2000. It has been sung in many elementary schools ever since. Please come here to listen to the song after the COVID-19 is over. This tree here with a green trunk grew from a seed from one of the original trees. Other seeds from survivor trees have been given to many people in Japan and also sent abroad. So second and third generation trees are thriving around the world.
This is the Peace Bell. It was built in 1964 and designed by Masahiko Katori, who was recognized by the government as a living national treasure. The dome-shaped roof represents the entire universe, and the bell itself represents the Earth floating in space. There is a world map without borders on the surface of the bell to symbolize a unified world. There are lotuses planted in the pond surrounding the bell. Every year, around the anniversary of the bombing, beautiful flowers bloom. This is meaningful because after the bombing, lotus leaves were placed on people's lands to reduce the pain of burns. For that reason, lotus leaves are here to console the spirits of the dead. Let's go up the steps and take a look.
This is a mirror reflecting the true self of every person who comes to ring the bell. There is an inscription here that says, "Know yourself." Knowing oneself is the basis of a unified world. Where the word strikes the bell, there is a symbol for nuclear energy. This signifies a wish that one day all atomic and hydrogen bombs will be eradicated. You can see another message there that says earnest wish in Japanese. A nuclear-free world is the strongest wish of the people of Hiroshima. Anyone is welcome to ring the bell. We hope that its echo will touch the hearts of people all over the world.
At last, I'm here.
Hello, welcome to Peace Memorial Park. I'm a youth peace volunteer. May I offer you a free guide?
America and other countries suffered. Nationality had nothing to do. For.
ごめんなさい。
This tour like looks amazing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, what are you guys watching?
ごめんなさい、もう一回。
ちょっと一回無理だね。
Is a symbol for a wish.
Where the wood strikes the bell, there is a symbol for nuclear energy.
Hello, I'm a youth peace volunteer. 間違えた。